you can do both. You
Yeah.
can enjoy here and now and prioritize saving for the future.
Well, today, Mason, we're getting together to talk about the topic of, are we using our money the way that we intended? Okay. So the thing, just to start it off, we spend a lot of time talking with our clients about saving, about how they're spending, how they're investing. And we do talk with our clients too about, are they using their monies in way that they intended, right? So that they have a fulfilling life. So to kind of lead today's conversation, that's what we're going to talk about, is fulfillment. And ultimately, the goal for most people, if not everyone, right, is to live a better life, a more fulfilling life. And that can mean different things for different people. So you've probably met with hundreds of different clients over the years. So what's been your experience as far as that's concerned?
It's a great question. Clients span the whole gamut, right? Money is different to all of us. And that's where, our job is coming in to understand we're on the spectrum of that journey, both mentally, but also tangibly, balance sheet wise, is the client in.
Yeah.
Most struggle with spending, focus being, let's control expenses, prioritize accumulation. But there are the select few that are on the other side of the equation. They've accumulated, think of those that are born in the Great Depression, or whose parents were born in the Great Depression. They have that clinging mindset.
Yeah.
And so they work their whole life to accumulate and never reap the benefits.
Yeah.
And there's, like in all personal financial planning, there's a lot of rules of thumbs, heuristics that we follow or throw out there, but ultimately is personal by nature because each client and each situation is different. So it's understanding where that scenario is, what's important to that client, and there's no right or wrong at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think people work in extremes, right? Because I know I work with a lot of clients that have spent or maybe haven't saved well enough. And then I have those clients that have almost saved too well, and there's fear of spending. But the ones that I think really get it are the ones in the middle, right? The folks that have balance between what they're saving and how they're living their lives. What's been your experience with folks like that?
Completely agree. Yeah, there's a balance that can be struck. And certainly there's extenuating circumstances where you might be in a debt prioritization phase because you have to, right?
Right.
But in that kind of sweet pocket, middle of your career, raising a family, debts in control, incomes are solid, you can do both. You can enjoy here and now and prioritize saving for the future so that you can enjoy the future. Yeah. It's a balancing act. And you're right, those clients that are able to find that balance in it, it changes year to year.
Sure.
But they can find that balance. There's more joy in the totality of their life because they're not putting one segment of their life on pause for another one.
Right.
And it's also more sustainable.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting here saving and not taking trips, not enjoying life, then I can get much more easily knocked off that path forward to saving because it becomes draining.
Yeah.
Whereas if you kind of give yourself little rewards, for lack of a better term, and living in the present too, I think that's a sustainable path to set yourself up for an enjoyable future as well.
Yeah. Have you worked with a client in the past that, like, I know I have, where I've worked with folks that I feel like they're almost shortchanging the present because they're so focused on savings, right? I've worked with clients who maybe, the spouse wants an experience, right? They want to take a vacation, or they want to maybe they want to redo the kitchen or something of that nature, but they keep putting it off because spending the money, and I get it because or at least I understand the concept of it, right? Because I've been saving all my life, particularly in 401k and whatnot. And the thought, most of my life, right, thinking about retirement, I'm like, I can't wait. There's like this shiny object at the end of the tunnel. And I'm only 51, but as I get a little bit closer to that object, I start to feel that sense of like, oh man, I've been so trained to save that it's really challenging to think about spending. And I know I hate that I know this, but I know I'm going to struggle with it when I get to that point, like that withdrawal phase. Have you worked with similar folks?
Those that are struggling in the here and now,
Either struggling in the here and now, or let's fast forward myself 10 to 15 years down the road, and they're struggling with that spending, the idea of spending what they've saved.
100%. Yeah, I worked with both. Those that are, say, 10 to 15 years off,
right?
That you're 100% correct. That concept of retirement is so nebulous. The question of, am I ready? Am I doing the right things? It's hard without having somebody walk alongside you at times to pull yourself out 30,000 foot level and say, yeah, I'm doing the right behaviors.
Yeah.
Setting myself up for future success. And that can get in the way of, I see it like you kind of referenced we got one spouse wants to do one thing, another spouse doing another thing.
Right.
And that ultimately that's a drain on our relationship, which is a problem.
Sure.
I have one client who has been saving for a home. They own a home. They've been wanting to build their dream home for 7 years. Yeah. And he's been saving and saving and saving. The price has been going up, and he can't get over the price level.
Yeah.
She's been wanting to build, and now, it's going to cost him 50% more.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is we're talking about just changing an asset.
Yeah.
From cash to a home. And he's so hung up on the financial aspect of the home asset. Yeah. He's missing the utility of a home.
Sure.
And that's so important in quality of life. That's certainly one example, the 10 to 15 years out from retirement.
Right.
And then, all the time for people that have retired. That's just so uncomfortable moving from, I have predictable paychecks, I know where it's coming from, it's the 1st and 15th of the month. Right. To now I got to flip the switch and start draining what I've accumulated. Right. It's very uncomfortable. And we try and turn on the same sort of income stream to replicate it, to help alleviate some of that stress. Right. But see it all the time with retirees, regardless of net worth.
Sure. Yeah. No, I would agree. And I think you've sort of alluded to it. The key is, and we talk about this a lot on the show, it's going through the process of getting a financial plan together. Right. Yep. It can relieve so much anxiety and stress. Some people think that the plan itself is more of a budget, right? Like, you're going to tell me how much I can spend and that I'm spending too much and things like that. But really, it's about financial freedom. Like, without a plan, you're just left to question whether or not you're ready, or are you saving enough, or how much can you spend, or should I buy this item, or can I construct a new home, and how, what's the impact of that going to be? Without a plan, it's almost impossible to answer those questions. Yep. Whereas with a plan, it provides you freedom.
Yeah, 100%. I think it empowers you for that 10 to 15 year couple. It empowers you to spend and enjoy in the here and now. Right. For that retiree, it empowers you to know, like, hey, when I'm 90, I'm still gonna be okay. Right. So I can kind of fast forward and enjoy, as Jane says, you got the go-go years, the slow-go years, no-go years. Yep. You can enjoy the go-go years. Yeah. We both, I'm sure, have clients that have let the go-go years pass them by. Yeah. And we encourage them to try and live life, but and it's unfortunate to see, but it's such a mental block. Sure. And for those that have plans, I think that, just anecdotal personal experience, the likelihood of that being the outcome is significantly less.
Yeah. And I love what you shared there, the go-go years, and like how important those are. And very rarely do I hear someone say, I wish I would have done less, right? Like, you don't talk to your older clients that maybe are in those sort of no-go or slow-go years. And they're like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done as much when I was in my 50s or my 60s. I wish I wouldn't have traveled with my family, or, I don't know, spent time away, in Florida for the wintertime or whatnot. Yep. I don't think I've ever heard someone with those regrets, right? If anything, it's the exact opposite, right? Where you have those people that, because your health controls a lot, or dictates a lot of this, right? And I have worked with some families where they get to a point where, your health can slip suddenly, right? It just happens. It happens slowly over time, but suddenly you're in a place where you're much more comfortable at home than you are on an airplane, let's say, for instance, so you don't want to travel. And there are probably more regrets about not doing the things you wish you had done than doing those things.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, do you have any experiences along that line where kind of the opposite? I don't know, let's just play the devil's advocate, where people have done things and are like, I wish I hadn't have spent that money. Are there any examples of?
I'm actually working with one right now. Okay. We've been working with them for 20 years. Yeah. So obviously I've not worked with them the entire time they've been with TriStar. Yeah. But they've been living pretty high in the hog. Yeah. And we've done planning with them. Yeah. And nothing's been really reined in. And so then also levers are, you got to just continue to work,
Yeah.
right? And let's try and control spending to a degree, liquidate some physical property, whatever, those types of things. And the plan's not very successful.
Yeah.
And now also we introduce a health event, which is going to be very expensive.
Sure.
And they're already looking at retirement probably at some point running out of money if they continue like they were going to. And now you add in this very expensive treatment course, which is obviously the priority. We have to do that. And we need to. But now it's changed the calculus to even greater degree.
Yeah.
Where the elements of stress on that couple it was kind of ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And now it's the financial stress is absolutely crushing.
Yeah.
And for that to get to that point where they should just be focusing on care and health and being together as a family, where now this is omnipresent.
Yeah.
That as an advisor, as a person, that hurts. Right.
Yeah. Right. So I'm gathering that maybe they hadn't done planning until more recently.
Yeah. At that point, it was almost too late. And then we did planning, and ensuing to that, behavioral changes were not made.
Yeah.
So, and now we're unfortunately here.
Sure. And that's tough, right? As an advisor, like I know you're similar to me in that you build relationships with these families, with these people, and you feel their pain or that struggle, right? And you wish you had gotten to it sooner. Because it's, sharing with someone that their probability of success achieving the goals that they want or whatnot is, I don't know, below 50% is challenging for an advisor too. When you're talking with someone that you've built a relationship with, and you just wish you had gotten to planning sooner rather than later when it can be too late. And suddenly, retirement is a very different conversation and how it impacts lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right?
And, and ultimately we have to prioritize that, and we will. And there's levers that we can pull, and we will. But it's going to put her lifestyle on the back end of all this.
Yeah.
It's going to look much different than it was. I mean, it was already going to look massively different. Now it's going to look even drastically so.
Yeah.
Which is, again, taking care of the need here, but it's the back end is going to be a little messy.
Yeah. So what, sort of changing gears a little bit here, when you think about spending, people that have spent money and really valued the experience or maybe the gift or the things that they've done, like what background or what experiences do you have with folks that have maybe have a high return on investment for things that they've spent their money on?
Yeah, I think the coolest thing our clients do as far as expenditures, especially when we look to those retirees, is taking a family on vacation.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Taking the kids, the grandkids, whether it can be a whole gamut of, hey, we're just going to pay for you to get there, or we'll pay for everything once you're there, or we'll pay for the whole thing.
Right.
But just to have those memories, to give your kids and your grandkids those memories, to go to new cool places and experiences, I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
And if, I look to my parents and
Sure.
my nuclear family, I'd much rather have that than $10,000.
Yep.
Right. That's irreplaceable.
Yep.
To a similar degree, not as maybe exciting and cool, but helping with down payments for kids.
Sure.
Their homes are so expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
To help them get started and take that burden and stressor off of them.
Yeah.
And then also, like we talked about earlier, the utility of a home that now they can raise their family in. You can go visit. And now, again, I'd rather see a client, or even personally myself, have that tangible property, that asset, the utility that comes with it, than receive $50,000 at the end of life.
Yeah.
There's so much that happens between then and the end of life because of that.
Right.
That is just more impactful than $1, whatever.
Absolutely. And I encourage clients all the time, especially if they know they're going to have more at end of life than they need. Yeah. Like we talk about gifting, right? Or like, would you like to observe your kids using some of the treasure that you've saved throughout your life? Would it be meaningful to you to help them with a down payment on a house, or to just gift them that money and see how they experience it, or on travel, things like that? So that is one thing for folks that maybe have been in that savings realm for a very long time and have had a hard time with spending. One way that they can get themselves some enjoyment out of that is through gifting as well.
Yeah, I find family's always is kind of the turnkey solution there to get people to turn that spending on. And the other route, and you hit the nail on the head, that those are maybe tactics for those that have know they're going to leave a nest egg.
Yep.
You know, and I have some clients that it's either not a priority to leave a nest egg, or
Sure.
you know, while our financially secure, maybe don't have that big inheritance windfall at the end of life. They'll do smaller things which are equally as powerful.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna once a year, I'm gonna take each grandkid out for a really nice meal, just the grandparents or just grandma, and just build that relationship and foster a relationship.
Yeah. How do you help someone to understand that they've done enough and trust? Because I hear it all the time from clients. We're like, well, I just, I don't want to spend that money. I don't feel comfortable with it. Right. Or, I just don't know if I can afford that. Right. And maybe they want to, I don't know, replace the roof on their house but how do you get them to a place of comfort with spending money for folks that just are challenged in doing so?
That's a great question. And it's a tough answer.
Yeah.
Because it can be such an ingrained behavior.
Sure.
Where it can be difficult, and sometimes you can't overcome it.
Yeah. Right.
Generally, if there's a financial plan,
too. Yeah.
To your earlier point, that helps. That empowers, that gives clarity.
Right.
You can model out scenarios to show, hey, you can do that. It's gonna be okay. That often breaks down that barrier a little bit. The other key is just it's a long-term play.
Yeah.
But it's like you said earlier, it's building that relationship, having that trust where then again just turn and say, hey, I get it.
Yeah.
But just trust me, you're gonna be okay. You can go ahead and fix your roof.
Yep.
A, because you need to do it.
Yeah.
But B, because I know you're financially secure enough to do it.
Yep.
And if there's that relationship, sometimes there is that opportunity for them to say, hey, you know what? It may be uncomfortable, but I know you're not going to lie to me.
Right.
I know that we have that relationship. Yeah. And so then they can go ahead and do it. Maybe not confidently, but more comfortably than they would have beforehand.
Yeah. I agree. And, we're defaulting again back to the answer of the financial plan, but it makes so much sense, right? Yeah. When you sit down with someone who says, well, I just, I'm spending too much money. And you almost just have to start over, which can be frustrating at times. But to say, okay, well, let's walk through your budget again. Show me what you're spending. And then let's take a look at your assets. And I think more times than not, especially if you know that client is someone that's challenged with spending, you just have to walk them through the numbers and show them that, hey, you're fine. And look, you're actually spending less than what you're bringing in. So you have a surplus at the end of every month, right? So maybe we need to find a way to spend some more things. I know in talking with you, you've talked to me about your interest in art, right? So let's talk about some places you can visit to view some art that you might really appreciate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Trust and planning, a big part of it.
Yeah, and you touched on something that I find all the time. It's often those clients that have that mindset, and it's how they've gotten them to be in a very successful financial position.
Sure.
But it's those that, whether they're still working or even retired, to your point, are actually still accumulating cash.
Oh, yeah.
And then to me, that's like a blinking green light to go spend more money.
Exactly.
But it's so habitual.
Yeah.
So if you find a better answer, I'm all ears on how to break down that wall with some clients.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think the first question I ask a lot of people is just simply, do you find yourself with a surplus at the end of the month? And if the answer is yes, then right off the bat, I know then maybe I have to dig into the numbers, right, to figure it out. But some people, to your point, you're never going to really, and I get it, right? You've spent all your life saving and now it's time to start spending. But I do think, going back to your earlier comment, I think a lot like when you talked about generational and how we're raised, right? People that were raised by parents from the silent generation struggle a lot more to spend because their parents just grew up very differently. Yeah. And I think a lot of the way that we experience money is based on our childhood, right? And in talking with people that maybe they didn't come from much, and so it was difficult. And so even people like that are ultra successful now, right? It's kind of funny. I joke with one client because my kids, Sam, really likes to go to Taco Bell, okay? And he likes a soft taco, right? But he likes it with sour cream, and he doesn't want tomatoes. So you have to order a soft taco with sour cream. They charge 75 cents just for the little dollop of sour cream. And even for me, I have a hard time with that. Yeah. Even though it's 75 cents, I can afford it. It's like, really? So I used to buy a candy bar for 25 cents, and I'm paying 75 cents for just a little dollop of sour cream. So the way that you're raised and the way that you experience money as a youngster can really affect the way you experience money as you grow.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think some of those things are deeply ingrained in people. and just revisiting spending with them and what some of the things they want to accomplish. I'm thinking of a few clients in mind, just trying to continue to build that trust and maybe get them to open up a little bit so they can create more experiences. Right.
Yeah. And I think talking about it helps too.
Yeah.
Generally those that have that mindset or are of that generation, it's a little taboo at times.
Yeah.
And it's maybe uncomfortable to talk about.
Yeah.
I think it just is a self-reinforcing cycle to that behavior.
Yeah.
And if you just get it out in the open, have that relationship and that trust to talk about it, that subliminally may end up helping to break down some of those walls as well.
Yep. And for some folks, they're just not going to break down at all. Yeah. And in which case, that's okay too, right? I would say that our goal is to help our clients live fulfilling lives, right? Far beyond just the numbers, right? But what are they experiencing? What are they in their lives and in their faith and whatnot?
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah. And that's not for us to say what is right or wrong.
Sure.
We just want them to be comfortable and confident.
Help guide them.
And how they're going to decide to move forward.
Yeah. So Mason, moving on to a different topic. Right now, and I'm not sure when exactly this will air, but the World Cup is on, right? I know you're a big soccer fan. So first question, what's your prediction? Who's going to win? And who's your dark horse to win maybe?
Well, my soccer knowledge pales in comparison to yourself. Be curious to hear your takes.
Yeah.
With Yamal playing, I think it's hard to bet against Spain.
Sure.
Also, having studied abroad in Spain for 4 months, very partial as well.
Yeah.
Gosh, dark horse. I mean, I would love to say USA, but I think that win helps.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to get out of group stage.
Yeah.
But even then, past the quarters would be pretty tough.
Yeah, tricky. And what do you think about Golden Boot? Do you have
I think a fun little storyline running through this is Mbappe. He's 4 goals, I think, away from being the all-time
I didn't know that.
leader in goals in the World Cup. And he's
you got knowledge.
28. Yeah. So if he doesn't do it the go around, I'm sure he'll be next. Yeah. But that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. So I probably would have agreed with you. I will agree with you on Spain, but I got to go a different direction just so I can. I'll say France. It seems very obvious, right? Almost too obvious. There's so much talent on that team. And you mentioned Mbappe. Scores so many goals, and he would have been my first choice for Golden Boot too. Dark horse, I don't know if it's really a dark horse, but Portugal I think is going to have a really good shot, right? I think they have a lot of talent. Really curious to see how Ronaldo plays a role in that team at, I don't know if he's 40 or 41.
41.
Yeah. So really curious to see how he plays a role. But outside of him, there's just a tremendous amount of talent.
Yeah, this kind of feels like Belgium's, that generation, like maybe a half decade ago for Portugal.
Yep.
Really nice roster. I think the key to your point, if they can handle Cristiano's workload well enough so he's still fresh come, quarters, semis.
And what would it do to the GOAT debate? Right, if Cristiano won a World Cup, that changes.
Adds it to the Euros.
Exactly.
And it's just this little tiny country of Portugal.
Are you a Messi or a Ronaldo guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Real Madrid. Yeah. 100%.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And I guess Golden Boot. I'll go. I don't know. I'll do something crazy. I'll say Balogun. Okay. Even though it's unlikely that the USA will go too far, but he's already got 2 in the bag. Yeah. So maybe he just keeps it going. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you soon.